Yeah, I'm ready. Hey, everybody. I'm going to introduce Patrick here. My name is Michael Visaya, and I work at the University of Washington. Patrick works for Microsoft. He'll say a little bit more about himself, I'm sure. He didn't bring 4 copies of his book to give away.
So we'll have ways that you can win a book, and you leave me your email. You email me your address, and I'll mail it to you. Okay? Yeah.
Okay, so we gave Patrick, I think, an interesting challenge here. We have we use the advanced CRM, which have not yet acknowledged the concept of an international address. So in our database, everything for an international address basically has to be shoved into one line for the city, postal code, province, or any of the other regional ways that addresses are described. So in our database, consequently, we find cities and postal codes in line 2 of the address, in line 1, and we just started going through trying to fix that and clean it up. Our president, as a matter of fact, is about to embark on a trip to Korea, Japan, Taiwan, and China. As part of that, they're trying to find people to invite to these events, and our address data is just in a terrible state. So about a week ago, I sent several thousand addresses for international records to Patrick in about as bad a shape as you could have them, with the idea of see what you can do to clean this up and make it look pretty for us in a report. And so that's what Patrick's going to talk about here today. Did I do a fair job? Excellent. Okay.
So he probably sent the data about 2 weeks ago.
I wasn't going to tell him that.
He's being nice, and I started looking at it on Friday. I just kind of got, hey, how are you? It's okay. Come on in. That's all right. So I was nervous when I opened the data up. They're already big, and they got about that big because it's really bad. So and I was stuck, right? But anyway, so my name's Patrick LeBlanc. I work for Microsoft. Everybody that works for a school, a university, I work for you, okay? And so if you have any challenges or you want to talk about SQL Server or anything, contact Melina, email me, and I'd be happy to get on the phone with you and chat with you. If you spend enough money, I may come visit you. Just kidding. Just kidding, right? So I've been working with SQL Server most of my adult life. My wife says that if I could, I would marry the SQL Server and divorce her. And actually why it sleeps next to my bed every night. So anyway, and I've written a couple of books on it. And so I'll figure out a way to give a couple away. It's the new one. It's a step-by-step book. It comes out March the 4th. As soon as it's published, the winners will get a copy in the mail. All right. So here's the agenda. Quick. So we're going to talk about this stuff right here. So how many people are running SQL Server today? All right. The number 1 relational database. And then everybody else is running Oracle, right? Number 2. And so, who's running stuff earlier than 2000? Do you know? 2000. What about 2005? It's okay. It's okay. 2008. R2? 2012.
We just got our 12 up this week.
All right. So, just to let you know, the next version will be coming out pretty soon. Okay? So it's great, right? 2012 has some great enhancements and advancements in it. And so they put on the title of my session about reporting services. Reporting services is a great tool, right? How many of you guys use reporting services today? Right? But how many of you guys are not IT? Don't work in the IT department. You're like researchers, analysts, and stuff like that. Reporting services is no good for you guys, right? Because I have to wait on IT to create those reports and deploy them and get them up and going. Correct? They don't have reporting services. These, my analysts, the people outside the IT shop, they don't have reporting services. So it's kind of a challenge to get to that point where they can build these wonderful reports. And so in SQL Server 2012, I believe, they added a feature. It's okay, come on in. It's okay. It's okay. In SQL Server 2012, we added a feature called Power View. How many of you guys heard of Power View? Very many. That's kind of unfortunate. I'm going to show you that feature of SQL Server today, okay? So this is what the data looked like. You guys may not be able to see this, but these last few columns over here was the data that I needed to report on. And what happened? What's wrong with them? They're empty. Why am I going to? This is Friday. I'm sitting at my desk and I'm looking at this. I'm like, this is going to be bad. This is going to be bad, right? So I started looking at it. And I was like, man. And so I found some anomalies and I added some other things. So most of the times, you want to see it? Hey, come on, I'll show it to you. There you go. See, it's kind of empty. Lots of empty rows. So I just deleted all that stuff. And just did report on that. Just found something that was popular. Just kidding. Just kidding. So typically, how many of us have data problems? Let's just be honest, right? Come on. Everybody should stand up, raise their hands, dance a little bit, because we all have data problems, right? Every time I open up, I work for Microsoft, right? And they say, oh, go to this and do this. What? It's not there. Where is it? Right? We all have these problems. A bigger challenge is we have multiple copies of the same thing in different systems, and they mean different things, right? We need to centralize. We need to get this one version of the truth. That's not possible, right? But so looking at this, typically we have a problem with standardization. We can't standardize across our organization. He sent me the data, and I think it was M and F's and U's in it. Like, what does that mean? What does M, F, U mean? If I'm reporting off of it, I don't know what M means. It's
You
mail.
keep disparaging my data.
A lot of the cities and states were misspelled, right? And then there's some other things, right? This is a slide that I use often. I just added some things, right? A lot of missing data. It's usually not standard, not complete, it's inaccurate, it's not valid, or it's not unique. There's a couple of things that I see that I run into with data a lot. You guys agree? Disagree? Yeah, right? So I took the data and I did some stuff to it. And I'm going to tell you what I did to it in just a little bit. But I want to show you what I was able to do with the data, what I'm able to do with the data now that I've cleaned it up, all right? So I have a public site that is secure right now because I only have permission to it. And what I'm using is Power View. A couple of people heard of Power View. Power View is new to SQL Server 2012. It's an ad hoc in-user reporting tool, okay? So you guys create a model. Oh, we got to do something. But watch where my model lives, and you'll see that at the end, okay? You got to stay to the end, so don't leave. So I know people like to walk out in the middle of a presentation. All right? Don't walk out, because you'll be surprised where this model that I'm building this data resides, okay? You think it's in SQL Server. I know you do, right? So, but it's not. So this is Power View. And I'm going to show you how I opened it up. We'll save that for the end also. So inside of Power View, I have my data. I mean, my data source connects to Power View, and it exposes this data for me. And so you see, if I click Edit Report, there's my data. Let's get Zoom It going over here. You guys use Zoom It? So over here on the left, my left, there's my data. The only data they provided to me was these two, the geography and international givers. That's what I called it. It should have been international donors, but I didn't want to call it donors because I'm just not that guy, right? Call it what I want to call it. And then I added a date table. But then last night, Michael and I met, and he goes, you can't use data because it makes no sense. So then he just threw another wrench. Not only did I see the data for the first time on Friday, but he's telling me that I can't use something that was a big part of my presentation. So while you guys were asleep or hanging out or doing whatever you were doing, I was back in my hotel room working. And so you see I have a little resentment towards you guys. That's okay. Right? I didn't get invited to any, after parties or anything like that because I had to work. Walked right past Corey and he was like, see you later, go work. And he was going off right now, but that's okay. All right. So I had to go do some work till about midnight to get this stuff straight. All right. So there's my data. And so what I did, you guys just pay attention. And so this is how this report tool works. So we'll get rid of filters. I don't know anything about designing reports, but I know my data. I'm an analyst. I know my data, Patrick, right? But I'm not IT. I can't write queries. I don't know MDX. I don't know T-SQL. I don't know PLC. I don't know any of this stuff. I need to create a nice report. Here you go. Pay attention. Watch. So I'm going to click this. I'm going to select this image. Where did you get that image from? I downloaded it off the internet. All right. There's my country. All right. Let's increase the size just a little bit so the guys in the back can see. Not the people in the splash zone. There we go. So these are my top 10 givers. Okay? That's their flag. That's their country, the name of the country. Now, how much did they give? How much did these people give? So we obfuscated this a little bit, okay? I multiplied this by a lot, so you got a lot of money, okay? So here's my giving, right here. And here's the maximum amount that was given. Uh-oh, let's see, 1 second.
Now it's a Microsoft presentation.
Yeah. My internet connection, I'm going to blame it on the internet connection. Hang on. Well, that was a low one.
My daughter's
He
part of
does
this.
not want to go up, right?
No, he does not win the book.
Yeah.
I think I already have the winners for the book. He's definitely not on the list. He's on the naughty list. Let's try that again. Come on. Keep clicking. I'm not used to this mouse. There we go. And then the maximum giving. There we go. And so you may notice that I have not written any code because I can't write code. I can't write SQL, I can't write MDX. I can't do any of that stuff. So I'm going to make this a nice little card. This mouse is giving me the blues. Right? Not that type of card. So we'll change the style. Make this call out. You guys in the back see that? Excellent. So we put that back over there. Get my geography back. Add my image. Wrong one. Deselect. So when you want to start creating a new item in this, you click in the white space and it automatically starts creating a table. Okay? So if you stay selected on the same item, it automatically continues to add to that item. But we don't want to do that, right? We're going to start a new item. So we click it right here. And we add our country and our image back. Change the order of those because I like the image on the other side. Expand this out just a little bit. Increase my size. There we go. So this is the first page of my report. And what I want to do is, because I'm fancy, I'm going to get an image that I downloaded right before this presentation. That one. This one right here. And put it on my background. All right? I've just created a report. How long did it take? How long did it take? Besides my arrow. Right? Doesn't count. Right? Less than a minute. So now, this is the beginning. This is the first page, kind of a dashboard, right? This gives me a quick view. These are the people that donated. This is how much they donated. This is the maximum amount I got, right? Quickly. I did this quickly, right? I'm not calling IT up. Believe it or not, even for the data model, I'm not calling IT. You guys already have 300 reports in your report queue, right? How many people get a report queue every season, right? Report, they don't stop. Report requests come in every day. Look, everybody's agreeing. They come in every day, and you know what? When I work as a DBA, I was a manager and kept reported. We were responsible for the data warehouse, the reports, and the database administrator. As soon as somebody would walk up with the report, I go, yeah, sure, put it over on the stack. We forget about it. There's just too many. It never stopped, right? So now I'm going to add a new view. Go to home. Insert a new one. All right. So now I have another one. So now I'm going to create another report. But I'm going to give you a real visualization here. So what we're going to call this is international donors. So I won't call it givers, right? So we'll see how many givers we have. So I'm just going to click. There we go. So it automatically adds it, and I want to look at this by country. There we go. So now it's broken down by country, and that's how many people, right? That's kind of small. But you know, I'd like to make this a bar graph, because I don't like those numbers. I don't want to look at stuff. I just want it to be visual for me, because I'm a visual kind of guy. Just like that, I made a bar chart. I don't want it sorted by country. I want this sorted by the amount of givers, and I want it descended. Did I call IT? It's pretty nice. I did this on my own. I don't know IT. I have a different hat on right now, right? I'm an analyst. I don't write queries. I don't do this kind of stuff, right? I'm taking IT outside of the IT shop. I'm empowering these guys so they'll stop coming to my desk while I'm playing Angry Birds. Right? I don't have time to create these reports. I got other stuff to do. You need to watch Netflix at work. You didn't block it, I'm gonna watch it. Right? I don't have time for all this. All right. So, but Patrick, you know what I'd like to do? I'd like to have this by gender, broken up, stack chart, no problem. So in my list over here, I have gender. Click it, take gender right there, drag it down to my legend. And I can see them by each individual gender. Okay? I'm just saying, how fast? I'm doing this quickly, right? Because I think they only give me 50 minutes. I'm already running out of time. All right, so now I have another type, record type. I was curious about this when we talked about this a little bit, but we'll make this a little bigger. Now you see the different types of people that are donors, right? Where is this coming from? Correct me. Is that what that means?
Yep.
Yeah. And I want to see how many of those I have. The givers. And I want to make this one of those bar charts that goes that way, right? So we'll click that down. Nice. I'm already liking this report. And I'm going to sort this also by giving and make it descending. Excellent. Right? Now the interesting thing about this is this model that we're going to get to in a little bit, I can pull data from anything that has an that I can create an ODBC or OLED connection to. Okay? So let's say I have the number 2 database Oracle, and I have the number 1 database SQL Server, right? And I want to combine data from those two. How do I do that today? Copy paste into Excel, copy paste into Excel, right? Do a VLOOKUP. If I'm an IT guy, I can copy them into the same database and stuff like that, right? If I'm not, if I'm just an analyst, or if I'm an IT guy, I can pull the data down and create a logical relationship in my model between those two and set a refresh schedule and forget it, right? And probably most of you guys own this data source today. You don't even realize it because you're talking about Tableau, right? You're all excited about Tableau because it's so pretty, but it costs about $500,000, right? But what you own today costs about that much. All right. So anyway, I'll get off my soapbox. All right, one more chart. We have degree student, and we'll look at the givers for that guy, and we'll make this a chart. And I'm going to show you something really cool here in just a second, and we'll expand this out. And we won't sort this guy because I really don't care. And now, because I created those relationships, remember I said you can create relationships between disparate data sources. It can be a CSV, an Excel spreadsheet, an Oracle database, and a SQL Server database. If I have a way to establish a relationship, a student key, a school key, a principal key, if I have a way to establish a relationship, it can make that relationship in this model. Now, because of that, let's say I only want to look at the male students in Canada, and I want to see how, which students gave from this and which students gave from that. What do I need to do? Go write another query? Nope. All I need to do is click. And everything adjusts. Ooh. I know you want to say, you don't want to say it. You say it afterwards. Ooh. That's what I said the first time. I was like, oh, you can do that? Right? Just click it. Right? Maybe I don't want to see that. Right? Maybe I don't want to see that. Click in here. Maybe I want to look at all my numbers. Ooh. It did it again. It will keep doing it. It won't stop. Right? Because of those relationships I put in that underlying model. You know what those relationships do for me? So imagine I'm writing a query. Select star from this, join that, right? What if I know how to join? How do I write the query? I can't. I probably do a Cartesian product. And what happens to my server then? Right? But you gave me access to it. You gave me access to that 2 terabyte database, and you said I could write queries against it. Now the CRM application is down because I wrote the wrong kind of query. Hey, you shouldn't have gave me access. I'm going to do that. I know enough to cause problems like that for you. All right, that's a great one, right? Pretty good. What do you guys think? Yeah? All right, let's do another. One more. I'm just so excited about this. Maybe you guys can't tell. Maybe you can't tell. All right. So remember our little images that we create. All I did, I went to the CIA website. Yeah, they have a website. And they had a list, a folder that said graphics, and it had all the images for every country in the world. And it had this database that had all the cities and states and all that stuff, and I downloaded all of it. So now let's do one international donor amounts, right? Now this is the interesting one. So let's go ahead and get our image back and our country. Keep clicking the right click again, right? And what we're going to do, we're going to make a little tile out of this. Right? It's like a filter on the page. Haven't even talked about filters yet, right? So now you can see, make this just a little bit. Right. So for this we're gonna, it's like a business card, right? That little card that I created on the front page. So we're gonna create a little business card here. So for Australia, I want to see some certain metrics, right? And so I want to see the maximum amount given, the giving amount, and let's see the number of givers. There we go, right there. Okay. Now as I click, if I go to Canada, what do you think is going to happen? It's going to change, right? This is all interrelated, right? Like me and my SQL server. We're all hooked up together. I got one in my back pocket right now. It's a CE version, right? The little cheap one. When you can download it for free. All right, so I have that. Uh-oh, lost my page. That's all right, we'll get back. There we go. Now, I want to, there was one that he gave me that I liked a lot. And Michael, you may need to, it was address type. This guy right here, it was interesting. And I'm gonna look at the amount given there. Right. Oh, that's not the one. I just added this one. Actually, that's why I was late. I added a new metric to my model called percent of donation. I like that one better. Because I wanted to see what percentage each one of them gave. And let's make this a bar chart. Yeah, I ran in here and I was trying to get it to 100% and I messed it up, but it's absolutely calculated fill. I'm going to show you how I did it just in a little bit. Because I did do my calculation correctly, but that's all right. This is just a demo. There we go. And we make that. Move that over here. All the metrics, since you say that, you see the little calculator thing on the side? All of those are calculations. So the little calculator tells me it's a calculated field. And then if you see like a little circle or globe by it, that means it's a geocoded field. It can be geocoded, okay? So there's my percentages, and what I want to do, I'll make this just a little bit bigger, and then I'll go to design, layout, and add some data labels right on the outside end, just so I can see what those percentages are. So now, I have the country, but what I want to do is I want to add the state, or the province, or whatever you call it, depending on where you are. And I want to add the actual giving amount. A few minutes ago, I lost my internet connection right in the middle of the presentation, which is great. Giving. So there we go. Total giving. Now let me ask you a question. If you wanted to map some data today, how would you map that? Anybody? Anybody?
On a map.
You win a book. What'd you say?
On a map.
On a map. That's not the right answer. Sorry?
With the centroid.
With the centroid. Okay. What else?
A zip code.
A zip code. Right? A zip
Or a county
code
boundary.
or a county boundary. Right? Longitude, latitude. A country name. A country state name. Right? But you probably have to get an Esri map or get some kind of map from somewhere. Use reporting services and bind it and match it up, right? You got to do some wizard or something to do matching, right? You got to know how to use a tool. I don't know how to use that tool. I don't work in IT. So all I'm going to do, you see that where it says map? I'm going to press that button. Bam! Right? Was that hard? You want to see it again? No. Right. So, all I did, I had a name of a country. If I have longitude and latitude, I can absolutely use longitude and latitude if I want to. That's too much work. I'm not lazy, I'm efficient. That's what I tell my wife. Yes, ma'am.
Could you hook the map up to your background so that the background was the map?
So that's a very good question. In this version, you can make a map, a background, but you can't make this map the background. Very good question. So if you have an image of a map, you can make it the background, but you can't add analytics to it yet. So yeah, hang on. This is an infant. That's right. This is a little baby, right? SQL Server is a grown person. This is a little, come on in, it's okay. It's about 25 minutes late. Sorry. We'll still have you. Somebody else's session must have been bored, so she decided. That's all right. All right, a click. That's all I did was a click. Remember, I didn't do much. So now I'm going to expand this out just a little bit. Just a little bit. And if I click here, what do you think is going to happen? Did you see that? When we do it again, I'll do it one more time. Go with Swiss. Did you see that? Was it too fast? All it's using is Bing, right? Bing Maps. Bing Maps can resolve what? A school name, an address, an airport name, a state, country, city, right? It can resolve it. It takes it and resolves it. Now, it's not perfect yet. They're still working on it. So sometimes you may have like, I forget, there was a state name that's in London and in the United States, and it maps it on both because it just doesn't know any better. So you need to get more precise. That's why I made a country state. So I put the country, comma, state name, so I could get more precise because I didn't have longitude and latitude. I did, and I just didn't feel like I ran out of time. Qualifying, cleaning it up. You guys see what I got it? So let's say I want to drill down to city. Now, this is going to be just a little bit slow. This internet connection isn't the greatest because it's actually making a call out to Bing for each one, okay? And so let's say I want to drill down to city. Well, do you have city? Yeah, sure, I have city. You gave me city. Drag it right there, right? Right under the location. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. So let's go back over to Canvas. It's doing something. It takes a little bit because it's going out and resolving those. And so this takes a little bit because this internet connection is just not the best here. But once it resolves out, all you need to do is double click it, and we'll do it. Hopefully it'll resolve pretty soon. I did this a while ago. It's like 20 seconds. You double click that circle, and then it starts plotting each city on the map. There we go. And so if I double click this, Canada, here we go. Give it a little bit. It's going to start going. Isn't that nice? What did I do? Nothing. Because I can't do anything, right? I don't know all this. I know data. That's my job. I know all about. I can do standard deviations, coefficient correlations, and all this kind of stuff. That's my thing, right? I don't do this IT stuff. I'm trying to make it easier for you so you can do it without, waiting for me because I'm the IT guy and I'm playing, playing video games most of the day. Playing Xbox. They give it to us at a good rate. Right? That's what I do. All right. More importantly, though, I joke about this. I joke about it a lot. I think it's great. It's a great tool. Let's go back up. I want to show you something that I forgot to mention back over on this guy right here. So, for instance, like this right here, let's clear this out. The same capabilities, that drill through that you saw on that map. Remember the map drill through? Come on. Unreal. Yeah, I want some internet connection to be in there. Well, maybe most of the demo. The same drill through that you have in the map, if we just go back. Excellent. That's all right. If you drag the city, so you see this axis layer right here? If you drag the city or the state, whatever, right under that guy, then you can double click that bar and it'll take you to the next level of the data. You can build hierarchies, you can do KPIs, all in this model that I haven't told you guys about yet. You're still waiting for it. Nobody left. Actually, somebody came in, so she's waiting too. Right? What is this guy talking about? What's this crazy guy talking about? Right? It's all right. Okay. So, with the data they gave me, in less than about 4 hours, we put this together last night while you guys were out hanging out. I was in my room working. So we put this together. I emailed Mike a couple of times. The Weston just sent me my bill. And we put this together. And so, Mike, what do you think?
Looks great.
All right, Mike thinks it looks great. Okay, what do you guys think? It's okay, right? You can tap low. Right? You can tap low. It's all right, okay.
Still need the model.
The model, that's what he's waiting for. We got a few minutes. I want to show you one more thing before I give you the model, right? So, on the map, let's see this little circle. What if I want to see something about the circle? What if I want to see the address type, the breakdown of the address type? If I drag that down to color, give it a few seconds, because the tape has to do some work. When you're at work with a better internet connection, it's pretty fast, even at home. Anyway, so it's going to make little pie charts on all those circles. It'll break it up to show the distribution for those addresses. If I would put gender, it would have done much quicker. All right? Any questions? Somebody's got to have a question. All right. Yeah, go ahead. You first. Ladies first.
So how do you distribute it?
How do I distribute this? So there's two ways you can use this tool and distribute this tool. The first way is Excel. Excel 2013, you go to Insert, say Power BI. Okay? I'm going to show you that in just a few minutes. SharePoint. This is SharePoint that I'm showing you. Okay? So either Excel or SharePoint. Excel? Are you serious? I'm absolutely 100% serious. So we'll leave this for a little bit and let that keep trying to decide what it's going to do. We'll go back over to our slides. All right? So we did this quickly, much less than a week. It took about 4 hours for us to do this. And what software that we probably use? Excel. The data source is in Excel. I can create the reports in Excel. It's all Excel. It's a reporting services plugin. You guys expected SQL Server reporting services, didn't you? I know you did, right? I just confused everybody. It's like, this guy's crazy. Yes, ma'am.
I know that,
You definitely get in the book because you asked a lot of questions.
with Esri, and it can now go into Excel, but if I send the Excel document to somebody who's outside of my agency who doesn't have the same license for it, they can't get it. Is that, when you make this, are you going to be able to send it to somebody?
If you have Office 2013 and you send this to somebody, it works.
On Office 2013?
On Office 2013, Excel
So if they have
2013,
an older version?
the maps won't work.
Okay.
The model in 2010, the model that you create will work. But Office, the mapping part, is only available in 2013. Very good question. You definitely did look. Maybe 2. Yes, sir.
Well, ODBC is not secure.
Well, you can do ODBC. That's just one of the ways, right? You can have a native. So our product comes with native Oracle clients that are encrypted, native SQL Server clients. But if you don't have it, you can do only the VOC. I know it's not secure, but you can use it if you don't have any choice, right? There's we can connect to Sybase, Teradata, you name it. Native drivers inside the product. And I'll show you that in just a little bit. Good question. Yes, it's definitely not secure, but you can. We make it available because people say, hey, well, I can't connect. Yes, you can. Connect anything. May not be secure. You can come up with your own encryption. Put it over SSL, right?
So you described or showed it looked like I was in my SharePoint.
That was SharePoint. That's
So
it.
how do you distribute it within the SharePoint environment?
Just you create a document library. So okay, this is a good question. You get a book. So that's it. I think I'm out of books. So everybody who did, I say get a book, come and give me your contact information afterwards. I don't remember, so random people come up. Anyway. In SharePoint 2010 or 2013, either one, if you want to distribute them and create them in SharePoint, you need to install reporting services. The reporting services add-in for SharePoint. If you want to create them in SharePoint, okay? If you don't want to create them in SharePoint, you want to create them in Excel, install the Power Pivot Gallery, and then you save them up to SharePoint, just like that, into the gallery. And I'll show you in a second. I'm going to show you. I still have about 15 minutes. Yes, ma'am.
Is this refreshing your data?
So, good question. So, once you deploy this workbook, so let's go. Let's just go over it. We want to talk, no more slides. I'm all done with slides. So let's go over to my server, my SharePoint site. And this is a website that some guys that I work with, we set up in Boston. It's a public SharePoint site. Did I not say lead page? There we go. It's a public SharePoint site. It's not pretty at all. And so right here, I have a document library, a Power Pivot Gallery that I'm running. There we go. That is the data model right there. Okay? That's my data model. that I just saved out to a document, a Power Pivot gallery, just a document library. I just saved it out, okay? That little button, I'll zoom in on that guy. This little button right there, that guy. When you click it, it opens Power View, and you start designing your report. So what about this data model that you've been promising us? Not yet. We're getting there, right? We're almost there. So you publish these out. You publish those workbooks out, and then you can create Power View. Now, there's another way that you can create Power View reports. So the Excel is the beginning phase, right? So I'm an analyst, I have some data, right? I want to create some Power View reports, I want to match up some data. I can do that with Power Pivot. How many of you guys heard of Power Pivot? Right? So Power Pivot is a plugin for Excel 2010, where it allows you to bring in lots and lots and lots of data, set relationships between those data, just like that. But let's say you want to move this up to the enterprise, right? Because I put that model out in SharePoint, it consumes a lot of resources, a lot of memory, stuff like that. But I can take the same model in Excel and promote it to a cube. So in 2012, we have a product called SQL Server Data Tools, okay? You guys know it? It used to be BIDS, Business Intelligence Development Studio. We just replaced it. We gave it a new name, like Microsoft, a new acronym for you, I remember. When I started working with Microsoft a couple of years ago, they sent me to a site that had a list of all the acronyms, like 373 billion of them. I memorized all of them. I had to upgrade my RAM. So anyway, you can create a tabular model. So in 2012, you guys know OLAP cubes. You know, everybody knows cubes have been around for eons, right? They're hard to design, people hate them. The first time I opened up an analysis server cube, I was ready to quit my job and go start working somewhere else because it was just so hard. In 2012, they came out with this new concept called Business Intelligence Semantic Models, okay? Which encompasses Power Pivot, the dimensional model, and the tabular model. So that's what I'm going to show you guys right now. This model. This model exists in two places, Excel and in our design environment. So we'll go over to first Excel. Wrong machine. First we'll go over to Excel. So here is the model. Right there, okay? So all I did, I opened Excel. So I opened Excel, as soon as I got the data, I opened Excel up. And there's a couple of steps I took, and I need to take just a few minutes to tell you about this. So when he sent me the data, I looked at it Friday. Really, I started looking at it Friday, and I was all confused because I didn't know what I was going to do. And we have a product called Data Quality Services, okay? So the one thing that Mike was telling me about, he had this one column with all the data meshed up into that one column. When he sent it up to Melissa Data, you guys know Melissa Data? It's a address validation service. And he sent it up and still couldn't parse it out properly. And so we have a product that you can create this domain, and then it can parse that out and then send it back to Melissa Data. So that's what I did, right? I used this product and I parsed some stuff out, sent it up to Melissa, it cleaned it up for me and sent it back. I mean, not to Melissa, sent it through my DQS process, sent it back to me, and I was able to do these great maps and stuff that you see. All right, so it spit out an Excel spreadsheet for me. Got that spreadsheet and I opened it up, okay? And what I did was, in Excel 2013, Power Pivot is included. In 2010, you need to go to powerpivot.com and download it and install it, okay? And you're running it today, right? And she loves it. That's what she told me at lunch. I'm not making it up. She said, I love Power Pivot. I would marry it if I could. That's what she told me. I'm just saying. She's in the book. That's okay. We talked already. She's part of the presentation. And so, but it's part of Excel 2013. Okay, so you click Power Pivot and you click Manage. Okay, if you have data in a spreadsheet, if I just open a new sheet up, right, and I say, okay, I want to track students. I want to count students, right? That's your student ID, first name, last name, right? LeBlanc, Patrick, number 1. First student in this district, okay? And if you just have data in a spreadsheet and you want to add it to Power Pivot, right? All you need to do, select that data, and there, add to model, okay? My row and headers. Give it a second, and there's my data, part of Power Pivot, okay? If you have data that lives in a database or in a spreadsheet or somewhere else, okay? When you click back over in SQL Server, back over in Excel, and click Go to Power Pivot, and click Manage, it opens up a new window. Now you can import up to a zillion rows of data into Power Pivot because it's an in-memory database, okay? If you're running 32-bit, there's much more of a limitation. But if you're running 64-bit, you can import lots and lots of data into Power Pivot, okay? So what I did was, I did this a couple of ways. First, I did the copy of what I just showed you, add the data model. Then I dumped it into a SQL Server database. Let's see how this works, right? So what you do is, you see where it says from other sources, click that guy, and you can add it, you see, from SQL Server, Azure, Oracle, even an old data feed. You pull data from just about anywhere. And that's what I did, right? I needed a date because I planned on doing some great date stuff, but he told me I couldn't. That's okay. I still brought in a date table, and then I made my own geography table from the stuff Melissa data quality spit out. And then I had all the metric data. So I ended up with 3 tables: a geography table, this international data table, and this date table. And I need to make these relationships. These were 3 different sources of data. One was is a comma delimited file for data. One came from Data Quality Services, and one came from University of Washington. But I wanted to do some aggregation, so I need to set these relationships up, right? So if you go into the modeling view, right here, just take a little bit to open up. Just like a relational diagram that everybody knows, right? We all know relational diagrams. When you think about a cube, you think about facts and dimensions into the nth degree. When you think about this new tabular model, it's just tables. It's just tabs, just like Excel. And so if I want to create a relationship, I need to make sure there's some keys there. So I'll delete this one just to show you how you make a relationship. Right? And so I wanted to create a relationship between this date that I had and the date in my date table. You select it, drag it, drop it, give it a few seconds. Oh, my relationship's already there because I hadn't saved it yet before I deleted it. But then the relationship is created. Was that hard? Is that too hard? So anybody can drag and drop. We do that every day. All right, drag and drop. Delete, delete. My wife gets home, I can delete that stuff.
Any data type problems?
So, good question. Good question. I wish I wasn't out of books. That's a very good question.
Yeah.
So, whenever you establish these relationships, you need to make sure they're the same data type. Okay? And so, using data tools, using Power Pivot, so let's say I select a column here, and if I go to design, I can specify, what are these guys? Right here, I can specify my data type. Okay? So you can tell it. So if I pull one in that's an integer and one that's a string, I can say make this a string. Then I can create the relationship. Or maybe I need to go on my back end and convert it before I pull it in. Just depends, right? It can handle some conversions, it can't handle them all. But the data types need to be the same, or you can't create the relationship. That's a very good question. I'm gonna take this guy's book and give it to you. Yeah.
In your joins, can you add
Yes.
or filters within your joins there?
So you can't do filters in the join, but you can do filters in the model. So if you only wanted to pull certain data down, is that what you're saying? So once I import all the data, let's say I only wanted to do Canada, right? I didn't care about all the other stuff. I just go to the geography table where all my stuff is, select that guy, and it's just like Excel. Filter them out. Just Excel. Don't think of SQL and queries. Forget you ever knew that stuff, right? That's what I'm doing right now, purging my memory of all that stuff. Because I'm just going to use graphical user interfaces to do my job now. I think this guy was first, then you.
No, you said to forget SQL and queries.
No question?
No, I was going to ask you, could you do a left join in your relationship?
So you can't do a left join in your relationship. So this is a little different than relational database.
Yes, no, that's fine. That's why I put my hand in.
Along the same lines, can you do any custom scripting at all?
So you can. So when you pull the data in, I'll show you guys. When I pull my data in from the other sources, right? Let's just say I'm pulling it from SQL Server, the #1 relational database. I have a connection already open. And so you can say, give me the whole table, or you can write a query.
Can you pull in from a stored procedure?
You can pull in from store procedure.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. These are great questions. Sorry, I wish I had a book there.
So you mentioned about creating a relationship behind the scenes, but when you're working with drawings, do you see if you get more additional drawings, do you see any performance issues as you add?
That's a good question. So as you add the join, so let's say I have a typical fact, the data warehouse. Let's talk about a fact table. Fact table typically has multiple dates in it, right? And I join to that date table 8 times, right? Potentially. So if we're talking about at the enterprise level, we wouldn't be using Excel, okay? We'd use the enterprise development tool. When you process the cube, that's part of building it. And so it processes and builds the joins, builds the relationships, builds the calculated columns, shoves it all in memory. So when I start accessing it, guess what? It's already done. There's no processing, there's nothing happening. Unless you go and create calculated columns in your spreadsheet. Those happen on a cell by cell level. But any calculations, so the calculations that you were asking about. So if I want to add measures, additive values to all these dimensions and facts, we have an expression language called DAX, okay? So you know, how many people know written an Excel expression before? Oh, you guys written Excel expression, you're just lazy right now, right? It's after lunch, right? But, so DAX is very similar to the Excel expression language. Just added some additional functions to it, so you can have these BI capabilities like previous month, you know, last year, last quarter, stuff like that. And so the expression language, I don't have zooming, so you won't be able to see it too clearly, but down at the bottom, I've added some measures. So like the percent of total, I took the donations for, you know, where I can slice them and dice them by any different of my dimensions. And I wrote an expression at the top that says for everything. It's a function called all. All right? You guys can't see it. I'm going to copy this so you can see it. And I think I'm running out of time. I'm going to put this on a notepad of all things. And then I'm going to zoom into it. So this little function right here. So the first thing I'm doing percent of total. So I'm getting the giving. I have a summation to kind of just sum giving. That's all it is. The sum function with giving. You don't see that there because that's a calculated column. And then I say calculate, which is a DAX expression, giving for all of that table, that one fact table. That will be your fact table in there. So don't slice. I don't care. If somebody adds it, just always the total for the entire table. So that's how I get the percent total. It's just Excel expressions. We just added a few. There's a website out there called Power Pivot FAQ that gives you examples on how to do all of this stuff. I mean, it's just like copy paste, copy paste. There's a guy who wrote all of it for you. He just gives it away. Great guy. I think I have 2 minutes now. Any questions? What do you guys think? I can do this.
Can you work offline?
Yes, you can work offline. So you can take the cube. There's a, we're getting a little advanced now, but you definitely can take that cube offline, just like a multi-dimensional cube. Yes?
Just said awesome.
All right. All right. Yes?
So you said, you know, when you start to get too big, you go enterprise. What's the enterprise solution?
So here you go. So in the last few minutes, on my other server, this is SQL Server data tools. Okay, just like Biz. So what you can do is I create a new project. I can just talk about reporting services. And you can see right there. So if my analyst created this Power Pivot workbook that everybody's wanting to share and to look at, and it's just getting too much for her to handle because people are just, she's got a line at her desk instead of you for reports now, right? So you say, hey, give me that model, right? You get the model and you just choose import from Power Pivot. The model that she created is automatically built into a tabular model. It automatically, the data tools automatically builds a cube out of it. And it will look just like this. And when you're all done designing it, you will deploy it to an instance of SQL Server. You just go here, right click, and choose deploy. And it's going to say where you want to deploy it. Deploy it out to an instance of SQL Server. Then you can use reporting services, you can use Excel, you can use SharePoint, anything to build reports on against it. And it uses MDX, but there's a query designer that you get. So you can just drag and drop.
Is that coming, you said 2012?
Yes, the tabular model is in 2012.
Right.
Yes.
And those data tools, is that part of the?
Yes. Yeah, you can actually download it for free. If you just go to Microsoft.com/SQL Server, you can download Management Studio and SQL Server, data tools for free. Yes.
Just, if that data model includes just basic Excel spreadsheets, how does it handle the scaling of that into an enterprise
So,
situation?
that is a very good question. So, if you're referencing these spreadsheets, right? These spreadsheets need to be persistent in one place. You can't go moving them around because this model is always going to look for them. Because you can say,
Network shareable, I'm assuming,
Yes.
and publicly available.
absolutely. Because if they're not, well, they don't have to be publicly available. The service that's running this needs to have access to it. That's it, okay? And you'll add the permissions to the queue. So if you start moving those around, they're not available, your process, you're just gonna pull the data in. As long as it's there, the scaling of the spread, it doesn't matter. Where the source you're getting it from doesn't matter. There's two modes you can run this queue in. You can run this queue in memory and direct query. If you run it in memory, you gotta pull all the data in. If you run a direct query, then it actually goes down and touches the physical sources. So if you're not concerned about performance that much, you can run a direct query. I suggest in memory all the time. In memory, because it takes and puts it in memory. It's really, 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 really snappy and really fast. Good question. There was one thing that I forgot to talk about, and I think I'm out of time. Sorry. Any questions? I'm all done, right? I'm all done.
Yeah, why can't we simply deploy the reports on an HTML page just like
You can, with the Power View reports?
Yeah.
You can, the Power View reports in this version of SQL Server, I'm going to say a very bad word right now. It depends on Silverlight. Very bad word. How long is that going to last? Not very long. All right, it's almost over. Silverlight's almost over. Right? Almost over. All right, I just cursed, right? I should have put a parental discretion, parental advisory thing on my thing. I just cursed. Silverlight, oh God, I can't run it on my iPad. Not yet, right? Give me a month or so, and it'll be ready to go. Yes?
Switching it over to Java?
Can't tell you. Can't tell you. It's gonna run on everything. I'll just say that. I can't tell you. It'll run on anything you can imagine. All right, thank you guys so much. I'm sorry.